thinking about this Nom Nom episode really has a lot of missed opportunities, with it taking place after Nom Nom's entourage. And regardless of what Nom Nom did in the episode, well, he used the bells. The ending, well, he kept one photo involving the bells. That should have been continuation of some kind when it comes to his relationship with not only Grizz, but also Panda and Ice Bear. And this episode really has a lot of missed opportunities. This episode isn't really tricky when it comes to how I watched it upon my first binge watch, but looking at it now, there's really no other way to describe of how much that this episode really had no reason to exist other than having a Nom Nom episode and just having the bells do something without any progression whatsoever. And regardless if you did enjoy this episode when it came to the comedy, there was a criticism that I'm gonna get to that really makes literally everything about this episode when it comes to the positives doesn't make up with the direction that the characters were taken. The episode itself is, well, the producers are making a Nom Nom show, and with the famous animals out of commission, the Nom Nom turned to the bells, Grizz doing a dangerous stunt, Panda doing a drama act with him being a princess, and Ice Bear doing a magic trick, with all of them leading to disaster while the audience laugh. That's basically the entire episode's plot, and honestly, looking at it, it's supposed to be humorous for the bells messing things up, which is similar to how the communication skills in the Entourage episode shows. But the difference is that at least in Entourage, it progressed the characters when it comes to development. And when it comes to the positives of the bells performing on stage, is that they don't go anywhere other than comedic value. The thing is that when the bells do the acts on stage, they're mostly just doing something in order to help out Nom Nom, but at the same time, there is no progression when it comes to their relationship with Nom Nom, and with them not really having a love/hate relationship when it comes to Grizz, and with Panda and Ice Bear being part of this, it's honestly difficult to take these moments as humorous when literally looking at it closely when it comes to the relationship doesn't really work out, judging of how that the bells themselves in this episode don't do much other than just filling in. And the thing is that I'm willing to forgive that if they actually attempted to have Panda and Ice Bear have a purpose of being in this episode and helping out Nom Nom, especially after the events of Captain Kaboo. What Panda and Ice Bear do in this, they're mainly doing it for the sake of plot. Regardless of what they did in these moments are humorous, it doesn't change the fact that it never progressed their newfound relationship with Nom Nom, with him having a change of heart when it comes to anger management. But then again, anger management is, well, Grizz is the only bear active in the episode, and thinking of how Panda and Ice Bear are willing to give Nom Nom a chance in this, all the while that Nom Nom is having a difficult time making this show a reality. And all honestly, this entire show that Nom Nom is trying to make was doomed on arrival, considering that he's not going to be able to succeed on being a TV celebrity in comparison to an internet celebrity. I'm still thinking with him being a diva and one of the most successful animals on the internet, really showcased that they took it way too literal when it comes to his character. Because in anger management, there was at least small progress on him getting used to hang out with Grizz when it comes to him hugging him. But the thing is that since it's just mainly a way of him just trying to do a commercial, and with him needing to do it, otherwise his career will go nowhere. Honestly, if he did do the TV series, I'm pretty sure it will probably put him into more stress than the stress that he's dealing with in this. And for me personally, whenever I think about how he's portrayed when it comes to the vacation episode, it really feels like that they have tours from Nom Nom, but only using tours for the sake of tours rather than using the tours to give Nom Nom development. Because having him having a heart attack when it comes to his diehard fans isn't something I'm on board with after thinking about it. And secondly, due to the humans of the characters in this episode, minus the producers working on the show, it really proves to me that they're dumb to even realize of what Nom Nom is truly capable of. Like, I'm not going to argue on the fact that they enjoyed the antics when it comes to the disasters that happen in each act involving Grizz, Panda, and Ice Bear. But the fact that he gets away when it comes to his anger problems that drove him out of fame when it came to his second episode, and the anger management episode that did showcase of how much that he really needs to control his anger, you have to admit that there was at least one person in the audience that actually sees Nom Nom reacting this way. And the fact that he gets away with it when it comes to the applause from the audience, and the fact that the antics from the 3 acts are successful, honestly, it's just difficult to root for him when the development that he gets is just him just doing his own thing rather than just hanging out with the Bears. Which for me personally, with this being the last time, not including the movie where Panda and Ice Bear hangs around with Nom Nom, considering that they didn't interact with him that much in this episode, I seriously don't know what to make of his character, considering that in the following 2 episodes centering around him with Grizz, it's just a showcase that, regardless if this is supposed to be the reality that a character like Nom Nom will never be friends with the Bears, doesn't change the fact that this episode isn't really good with thinking of these informations when it comes to how the execution of the 3 acts didn't win me over now than how it did back then. And all honestly, just looking at Panda and Ice Bear, they're mainly secondary characters, including Grizz, who just don't usually contribute too much. If anything, every time I look at the Bears in this, they don't contribute much, and regardless if the acts that they did are supposed to be humorous, it doesn't change the fact that they're mainly secondary characters, other than just bringing out the humor that didn't really save this episode if you look into Nom Nom's character. Granted, in a different perspective, the Bears lost their chance on gaining attention on television, since that the majority of their goals is to get attention from other people and they want to fit in, and obviously the ending does kind of make sense for them not getting that. But at the same time, in comparison to the other times that we've seen them failed on getting attention nor fitting in, this honestly feels a lot more lackluster, considering that with Nom Nom declining the offer that he doesn't want to work with the Bears, the episode ends with the hedgehog who is playing the piano, and that's it. We don't see the Bears' reaction to all this, to the point that it just makes me feel bad for them, even though it's supposed to be a progression when it comes to them getting attention all the while fitting in. That just sums up of how much that this main perspective that I've been focusing on for the majority of this review really damages any credibility from this episode. If anything, what ends up happening after this episode when it comes to him not getting a show doesn't really matter, considering that he'll go back to making internet videos, which for me personally, his career being over in his point of view is over exaggerated to the point that it's supposed to make us take his career seriously, when at the end of the day he's not even attempting to slow down to actually think of what could literally happen to him if his career actually ended when it comes to his own doing. Mainly of what he caused in his second appearance episode from season 2, mainly the anger management episode, and every time I think about the vacation episode when it comes to him having a panic attack, honestly, if he really had a panic attack, he would have been a lot more sympathetic when it comes to having a better direction than how he ended up being when it comes to the episodes that we've seen. Because by that point, him having a panic attack just feels a lot more out of nowhere, and it's just giving him a tool for the sake of him doing something. At the very least, when the Bears have tools when it comes to their centered episodes, it at least felt accurate considering that they're not internet sensations, unlike Nom Nom. And if we did had another season of this show with another appearance of Nom Nom and they didn't even took his character seriously, rather than mostly making him a diva too literal, then I'm pretty sure that the worst episodes of season 5 would have been from him. Granted, there is debates that another episode could be worse when it comes to an alternative world, but every time I think about Nom Nom, all I can think of is that this episode alone, despite nowhere near as bad as the episode from season 1 that I talked about in the second Cartoon Crisis, it doesn't change the fact that this episode was a letdown of missed opportunities that really didn't further anything, and the comedy in this didn't save it. I don't know when I'm gonna be talking about the episode's vacation or anger management to describe Nom Nom's character, but this episode is a demonstration of how much that his character isn't really progressed whatsoever, to where other characters who are the Bears' friends at least attempted with development and likability that really made the episodes worthwhile. Let's just be thankful that if we actually had an episode centering around them hanging out with Nom Nom, it wouldn't be like anything of what I'm planning in my We Bear Bears Canada fanfic. You know, honestly, what I developed of Nom Nom's character in Chapter 5 really sums up a lot that he's not going to act like any of that in the show. Granted, I'm being a downer, but that's just basically the reality that I had to deal with when it comes to thinking about Nom Nom's character more after discussing the other characters from the show. With that being said, I'm giving this episode a 3.75 out of 10.